Welcome to the Backspin Podcast. I am DJ A-FLEX.
What up, DJ Q? What's that, man?
Yeah, a couple DJs from St. Louis that like to sit around and talk about DJ shit. And today we've got a couple things to talk about. But, you know, the hot topic of the week, of course, is the Drake and Kendrick Lamar battle that is going on right now. And Euphoria dropped Tuesday. It is now Wednesday. So it's been about 24 hours or so with Euphoria. And you've got some... thoughts.
What's interesting too, I don't know if you caught this, I just saw this today, that apparently it dropped at 8:24 yesterday morning, and that was like, people are saying it's like an ode to Kobe, because Kobe, you know, he had wore number 8 and number 24, and he was a Laker, LA. Yeah,
and I think they were kind of homies too.
Yeah.
Like Kobe, you know, I saw an interview with them together where Kobe was showing him that, I think they asked Kendrick, like, they asked Kobe, who Kendrick in the NBA did he remind him of the most? And he said me, because it's his drive and his you know, endless drive and you know, whatever else. I don't know the verbatim, but go look it up if you're interested. But I mean,
yeah, man. I was, like I said, man, I'm gonna go ahead and say I think Euphoria is the most devastating diss record of all time.
Now, why do you say that?
I mean, just because of the facts that were stated in the record. The things that were said, like, I mean, it's just cutthroat. Like, there's no, like...
yeah, so, you know, just
cutthroat to the, like, yeah.
For anybody that may, you know, be living under a rock and didn't listen to the Euphoria record, I thought the biggest thing to me that was, I mean, it was a low blow, but I thought, like, the knockout punch was basically saying... I'm taking care of my kids, but you wouldn't know nothing about that.
Yeah, that's huge. But then the other lines after that went along, man.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal. And here's the thing, like the way that I think Kung Fu Kenny has navigated like his career, like what can you really say? And I know we talked about this a little bit the other day, but you know, one of them was on like a Disney show. The other one was raised in Compton.
Right.
So, and as far as like the streets, as far as like being real, there's no weird controversy with Kendrick either.
Right.
Not that I know of. Like, there's no hidden child. There's no, you know, like there's weird stuff with, you know, I think he paid some money, some hush money to a girl for some sexual assault allegations or something like that. Drake did. So there was a number of different, you know, there was a lot of different things that you could kind of say about Drake. But I think the big one and what really got under Kendrick's skin was you know, Kendrick writes all of his own, every word that comes out of Kendrick's mouth, Kendrick wrote. You can't say the same for Aubrey.
20 v1, no, it's 1v20 if I gotta slap all your writers.
Yeah.
Man, come on, bro.
Yeah.
But to go back to what you said, though, like, me and the homie DJ Micro were talking about this yesterday. Like, Kendrick raps and goes home. Like, he doesn't have, like, all this drama. So there's nothing really Drake can say. And then the thing is, the things that Drake can say, Kendrick addressed, right? Like, he said, okay, you want to talk about splits? We can talk about splits, you know. And he brings up, you know, about Drake's split, you know, with his signings and things like that. So it's like that's the only thing really he can say. And like, you know, like everybody's jumping on push-ups. Like the hottest line in push-ups is the fact that he called Kendrick short, and he wears a size 7 shoe or something like that. Like, come on, man, that ain't. Like, this man told you don't know nothing about raising your son, which has been brought up in the past by Pusha T. So there's no like, this isn't like an alleged situation. Like, we know about this. We know about you dressing in blackface, you know, and appropriating black culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know about this. Like, come on, bro.
There was a line too where, what do you say? I like Drake melodies, but not the tough talk.
Right.
And I kind of feel the same way. You know, not strongly, because I do like Drake. I do like to play Drake's records. But when it comes down to this, like, battle stuff, and you got to pick a side, and you got to, like, it's like, okay, well, who really like got their shots off at the other guy? And I have to agree because one of them, like, he's been on TV and been rich since he was a kid.
Yeah, bro. Like
and the other one came from the streets. So
not only that, just like, again, like going back to like, what can there be said that's valid? That's what I said. Like, I think I made a post on Facebook or something on somebody's post. Like, there's nothing Drake can respond with that's valid. Like, yeah, he can Joan. He can say, "Oh man, you short," or "Your braids are messed up," or blah blah blah. It's just invalid things that don't have any type of substance.
Well, I think it comes down to authenticity. Mm-hmm. Where Drake, I mean, yes, he's talented, but he was also, and his music is created in a laboratory. Yeah. Where, like, are you really feeling that music if there were 7 people got together to write it? Like, that doesn't mean it's not a great song. Doesn't mean I'm not going to play it. But if it's artist versus artist, and I think, I don't know if we talked about it, but it's kind of one of the things with Taylor Swift. Like, Taylor Swift pretty much writes all her own music. So if you want to talk about the biggest pop star, like her versus who are you going to say? And I know everybody, well, what about Beyonce? Beyonce don't write her own music.
Right.
Okay, next. You think Ariana Grande writes her own music? Like, let's just keep going down the list. How far do we have to go down the list? SZA? SZA probably writes her own music. I feel like...
Yeah, I don't know. But you're right, though. Like, we get to the point where it's like... And I said this a long time ago, right? I said this way back when Drake and Meek Mill were going at it. Because Meek Mill brought this up. Who wrote your songs? Because Meek Mill writes all his stuff.
Yeah.
And he brought it, like, people been saying the same thing about Drake every time. Meek Mill said it, Pusha T said it. Now, of course, Kendrick's saying it. But everybody just keep letting him slide under the rug because he's so popular. And it's like, and then I think people too with this battle rap thing, they're getting caught up on the wrong things. Like, I hear people talk about, oh man, the beat wasn't hard, or the way that Euphoria started was weird. Like, it don't matter about the beat. It don't even really matter about like the tone of the delivery. It just matters about what he said, and then what he said is like fact checkable. So it's like, it's valid, and it's like, yo, you can't. There's no rebuttal. That's why you had to do the little 10 things I hate about you movie clip, because there is no rebuttal for Drake.
Well, I'm gonna give me. I'm always like I got to keep things positive, right? But he stood up to him. That's one of the things that you can say is like, all right, maybe he had a little help or whatever, but at least he responded. At least he stood up. There's a lot of people like J. Cole.
Yeah, I don't know why J. Cole did. Like, I still say J. Cole's records were better than Drake's. Like, I think that, like, if we talk about like battle rap, like J. Cole's a better rapper, writer than Drake. Drake's just popular. He's a pop star. Does he make good music for us to play in the club? Just like Kendrick said, like, man, keep making them songs, make me wave my hand. You know what I'm saying? And dance in the club, we'll be good. Yeah,
but you don't want a part of the battle scene.
Yeah, this is a whole different animal. And so, yeah, man.
And can you see Drake like being angry and being aggressive? Like Kendrick, you could see Kendrick like popping off and like throwing a chair across the room or something, but
I don't even think he needs to, like I said, like, I don't even think he needs to do that. Like, the issue is, or not the issue, the thing is like, there's so much ammunition for Kendrick. Just like he said in the record, I didn't need to call nobody. I didn't need to dig up no dirt. It's right there. Like, it's right there. Boom. But the thing about Kendrick, like we said, like, he ain't got no drama. He ain't got no dirt to our knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, again, like, what's Drake gonna say?
So, you ready for me to tie this into some DJ stuff?
Let's go.
Okay.
Always.
So, what warrants, what's egregious behavior as a DJ? Like, what sort of things are you, like, do you need to be held accountable for? Because I saw some things at the Skratch Bastid show that I thought were odd. Not a lot. Not a lot. But some things worth calling out. Yeah. And I thought about this, and I'm like, do I say names or do I not? And I've ultimately decided I'm not going to say the names.
Okay.
Because they're not sitting here.
Okay.
Okay. If they were sitting right here, I would say the names, just because.
Well, they be here, so you just talk to them about it.
You could, yeah, we could talk about it, but
and understand maybe why they did what they did.
So what I guess one of the things that I want to address is proper or appropriate opening DJ etiquette.
That's a hot topic, man. That's a hot topic.
Because it seems to me that, and it can't just be a St. Louis problem, but
no,
DJs
not.
are, it's like they want to be the first to play certain songs. Not thinking about, a DJ's got to go on after me, so I want to make sure that I leave him some room to breathe. You know, it doesn't mean don't play any hits. It doesn't mean don't play, but, I think, and jump in anytime, I think that we've lost our way. I don't know if it's ego. I don't know if it's selfishness. I'm not really sure what it is. And I will also be the first to admit, I'm sure I've made this mistake in the past, but it's worth talking about. It's worth bringing up so we can start having the conversation, so that maybe DJs start talking and go, hey man, like I got a routine with this song. Don't play this. Or, hey man, I got to go on after you for a couple hours. So like, don't crush the crowd to where it feels like everything that I play after you is going to fall flat because you've already run all the hit records. So what I saw, one of the things that I saw that is, to me worth calling out, I'm sitting there and I'm watching a certain DJ drop records that I know other DJs in the room have routines with. Think like Rock the Bells, for example. Yeah. So DJ gets on, he's playing his set, he's mixing records, not doing a lot, especially not compared to like, Skratch Bastid or what Charlie Chan would do, or Moff or whoever else. And just playing Rock the Bells. Imagine that. Imagine you've got a whole bunch of turntablists coming on after you, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to play Rock the Bells, and I'm just going to drop into it. I'm not going to do a routine with it. I'm not going to do anything, and I'm just going to play that record. And that was done with a couple of records to where I'm like, what is this person thinking? Why would they do this? Why would they basically cut the throat of the DJs that are going on after them? And maybe they feel like, hey, nobody owns these songs, like nobody's entitled to these. Right. But for me, like I wouldn't do that. If I know that you got routines with Rock the Bells and I'm coming on before you, I'm not going to play Rock the Bells in my set. Yeah. So what is the call there? Is it the responsibility of the DJs that are going on later to talk to guys and be like, hey man, don't play this. But I feel like in this situation, it was known. Like this DJ knows, like, hey, somebody's going to do a Rock the Bells routine. Don't run it. Right. And like I said, there was more than one record. I think by the third song, like, I was like, yo, and I was standing next to Chris Brown and Micro, and I brought it up, and both of them kind of agreed with me, like that is Rod, And once it sunk in what was going on, because both those guys are DJ, like Chris is, I think, more of a battle DJ than Micro, but
100%.
What do you think about that? How do you handle that situation?
I'm gonna rewind it back a little bit, as far as like opening DJs in in our city specifically, like that situation doesn't happen very often. So I don't think there's a lot of DJs that have experience with it, and I think that's where we lose our way in St. Louis when it does come up, because in other cities that maybe the DJ goes longer, like it's a longer night and they do opening DJs, or like maybe they do more of a headliner DJ style, like a Las Vegas or something like that, where that happens a lot more, maybe Miami or New York and things like that, because a lot of the clubs they open later, where we don't necessarily have that opening DJ closing DJ situation. And I think that's where we fall short when it comes to that part of the subject. As far as like, you know, that's tough. Like, as far as what happened at the show, because we all know who's who. We're a small, you know, it's a small town. We know who does what, right? And we know there's certain people that do a certain thing because they've done it a lot and we've seen them do it a lot. So there's no question that in that specific context, they're going to do that thing. So why play a record that you know that this other DJ has a routine to? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that because that's not something I would do. Like, I'm not going to play Rock the Bells or something like that. And even, like, yeah.
If you're going to play it, do something with it, too.
But even still, like, even on that note, even if you're going to do something, the thing that you're going to do better be better than what the other guy's going to do, right? So if you got a routine with Rock the Bells and this other DJ got a routine with Rock the Bells, like, but you know his routine is better than yours, don't fuck with Rock the Bells. Do something else.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like that's my opinion. Like I have routines. I don't have a routine with Rock the Bells, so I just wouldn't play it. And especially knowing that I know a DJ that's got a routine with Rock the Bells, I ain't gonna play Rock the Bells.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna do it.
Even if Charlie didn't play Rock the Bells, or even, you know, Skratch Bastid could have had something with it, or Buck Rogers could have had something for it. If you're not gonna do something with the record, you know, and it's like a known, you know, turntablist battle record, whatever you want to call it, like, leave those alone.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have the answer for that one because it's just not something I would do. I think that honestly, in my opinion, that wasn't the right thing to do, to burn up a record like that.
Yeah,
you know, and the only other thing I'd say, like, it depends on like the time period in between the two. Maybe like if it's a super long time, like, you know, hours upon hours. But if it's literally like, you know, all right, in another hour, this DJ is gonna go on and do a routine to that, and I just played it. I don't know. You know, I wasn't there. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see the show, but you know, stuff like that I have seen happen. You know what? And it's funny that kind of thing happens in battles, like at DMC and things like that. Like somebody will have a routine with the same song as somebody else.
Yeah.
But one thing I will say though, even the person who has the better routine will still shine through, right? Like, so even if you play it, say you play it like in the situation at the Skratch Bastid show where the DJ just played it, and then we got another DJ gonna do a routine. I think that like the person who does a routine is gonna like shine a different light on it and make it, you know. So, but I still probably wouldn't play it.
You know me, I try to keep things pretty positive, and I don't want to spend too much time on it. And we talked a little bit more about yesterday or earlier today about, you know, opening etiquette and stuff like that. And so I just want to make the point of, like, if you don't know as an opening DJ, ask. Go, hey, like, you got to go on after me. How are we going to handle this situation? Or if you're working with a DJ that doesn't normally open, they normally DJ by themselves or whatever, you know, you should be able to have a chat with that person, and it's, you know, it should be cordial. It should be like, oh yeah, okay, cool, let's work together, let's get on the same page. Hey, I'm not trying to take anything from you, but I want to make sure that this night goes well. That way we can continue to do this, because if things get jumbled up in the middle in the transition or whatever, like, the whole event can kind of get thrown off a little bit. But that didn't throw the event off. The DJ that played a couple of records, like, only a handful of DJs probably even noticed what I noticed, you know, but I have a podcast and I have to look for things to talk about. But I think Trackstar, he threw an incredible show. I think that all the DJs did a fantastic job. I think the St. Louis, I guess the amount of people that I expected were there. You know, there was enough people there, but it definitely could have been more. I would like to see St. Louis show up in bigger numbers and support these kind of things, because if we don't go out, if we don't try to support these kind of things, they may not come back. So it's like,
well, they won't come back.
Yeah, it's few and far between that we get stuff like this. Why is that? Well, because people take a chance, people invest in these things, and they put up a lot of money, and in the hopes that people will come out. But time and time again, St. Louis just really, like, it takes time to build something with some consistency, so you have to take some L's for a little while or offset the costs somehow, whether it's investors or whatever, long enough until I think that you turn a profit. And I'm so thankful to Trackstar that he is willing to, like, what do you lay on his, what do they say, lay on the sword, or whatever it is, like
sword for it,
like he's the one that's like falling on the sword, whatever that saying is, to make something like this happen, because he loves hip hop, and he wanted to give something to the hip hop community, and he did. And in that, it was a great success. I saw a lot of smiles. It was like a freaking class reunion. There's a ton of people there. The DJs were all showing out. I think the venue was great. The sound was pretty damn good. All the DJs were brought something different to the table. So, and I thought it was really dope. The Skratch Bastid and Buck Rogers were like in the crowd. They were just there hanging out. Anybody could walk up to him, take a picture, which I regret not doing, but met him, said hi, whatever. So yeah, I mean,
I think that, that thing can happen here. Shout out to homie High Noon. He's doing similar situation in Kansas City, but let's rewind back to the science. Man, we had that situation here, and it worked. We had DJs, Craze, Rob Swift, Evil D.
You talking about the Scion events?
Yeah, Scion events back in the day.
Right.
Or just like the Science, which was a hip-hop kind of deal that was very DJ-centric, very hip-hop-centric thing that happened every Friday night, in the loop, in the duck room at Vintage Vinyl. So I don't think that it's not possible for St. Louis to do that again. It just needs to be done, and done consistently on a regular basis. And it's going to take time to build, just like High Noon did out there, with his Funk on the Rooftop. He's been doing it for some years now, and it didn't start off like this crazy banger that it is now. Where now he's got Ease coming in, I think, next week. He had Skratch Bastid, he had, Mrs. Sinister, he had Buck Rogers, he's had, I can't remember all the names, but, he's had a lot of people, come in from out of town and play. Ragoza, all these DJs that, we look up to. And, that can happen here. Like, he's not doing anything.
If you remember, we had a guy, Solo, that was doing that.
Mm-hmm.
He was running the Science. I forget who he inherited it from. Was it B Money and somebody else?
It was a collective. It was like Solo, B Money was involved, Fenster, Fly DX, Wax Murderers crew, were involved in it, because it was, remember, that was a live broadcast on 88.1, for that situation.
Yeah. So the point that, yes, of course. And if you want to talk about the science, I'm more than happy to talk about it. I'm not like a science historian. I'm just.
I'm not either, but I just remember it happened, and I think we can make it happen again. Something similar to that. And
who's going to pick up that mantle? Who is going to be the one that leads the charge? And I feel like Trackstar.
Yeah.
Even though he's got the busy schedule rolling with DJing for Run the Jewels, like, he could be the guy. He's got the connections. He's got,
I think, what I think it could work is it needs to be a collective, kind of like what the Science was, right? Like, the Science wasn't just one person. It was a collective of people that came together. So, if for whatever reason Solo couldn't be there that night, it still happened. Or Fly DX couldn't DJ, K9 would DJ, or Charlie would DJ, or whoever, you know what I'm saying? So I think that, like, if, you know, a group of DJs, like, you know, myself, you, Trackstar, whoever else wants to be involved, and came together like, hey, let's do this night that's gonna be this thing for us, but we got to do it consistent. We can't really worry about the money and the popularity of it to begin. This is going to be something that builds, where next year we got something rolling. It's known. It's branded. So when we do bring people out, you know, more people show up because they know about it. Because, you know, the thing with Skratch, it was a one-off. And
it wasn't necessarily one-off. There's been other Trackstar and Friends, and there's been other of the hip-hop swap meets.
Yeah, but it's like a one-off thing. It's not like a weekly. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, like, you mean, okay, so it's not something that's done on a consistent schedule.
Yeah, okay. Like, you know, like what I said, like High Noon's doing, Funk on the Rooftop is every Monday.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? So something like that, where it's every Sunday or every Friday, Thursday, whatever it is, you know what I mean? Like, but it's that same time every week. It's the same consistent brand. It's the same.
Yeah, and I'm not really sure. Like, maybe I'm a little bit out of the loop, but I know that DJ Smitty was doing some stuff pretty consistently, and I believe like Rabu and maybe even Finsta. I don't know about Finsta, but there's been different people that have been kind of involved and like try to keep that going. But I think everybody's getting a little bit older. Got kids. We're married. We got day jobs. We got, you know, all these responsibilities. And, you know, it was easier to do when we were younger.
Yeah.
So how do we?
That's
I think
why I
you're
say
right.
the collective part.
If it's a collective and you can divide up the responsibility, and I'm not necessarily volunteering for this, even though if the situation was right, I would like to get involved. Like, you know, especially. Anyways, so yeah, I think that basically is what it breaks down. It's like you can't go in expecting that you're going to get rich off it. But if everybody contributes a little bit, I think probably the reward would be, you know, breaking even, but getting the kind of shows that you want to see in St. Louis, like bringing in the artists that you want with some sponsorship and stuff like that. I think that it's plausible.
Yeah, but it's got to be like you said, it's got to be for like the culture, right? Like, it's not to make money, especially in the beginning. Like, if this situation makes money 2 years from now, you know, the little bit of money I think that it could make 2 years from now, that would be like the cherry on top of the cherry on top of the cherry.
Right.
I think this is a situation, again, as a collective, and the other part about it, since it's a collective, like the money would have to be divided so many different ways that at the end of the day, each individual, you know, you're not going to make anything that's like worth, you know, talking about, right?
Yeah.
So this would be a situation that, again, strictly for the culture to build this thing. So when like these other events happen, you know, we're known for it. You know, if a Skratch Bastid comes, if a Craze comes, if it's so and so, this other DJ comes, now we got this thing that we can piggyback off of, you know, and bring that show and have people come out, because then you have a base crowd. You know, if you had a base crowd of like 100 people that come out weekly, but then, you know, every quarter you bringing out Skratch Bastid or whatever. All right, man, it's a special event this Wednesday. You know, every other Wednesday it's just us, but this next Wednesday or whatever, we're blowing it out. So then you got all your other people that already always show up. They're telling her, hey, man, I know you don't come out every Wednesday, but you got to come out this Wednesday because this is going on. Then you might have 200-300 people there. You know what I mean?
I don't know if there's the crowd to support a weekly. A monthly, maybe.
Nah, you got to do it weekly. If you do it monthly, it's too far and few between.
But I think there was some excitement about seeing people that you don't normally see. Everybody's getting a little bit older and busier. So, like, I went because I'm like, I'm going to see all kinds of people that I don't normally see. So I went out of my way, and it's Sunday, and of course I want to support. I'm not trying to like minimize it, but if that was every week,
yeah, but that's why
would I go every week?
For us as a collective, like, yeah, you can't go every week, but then like, you know, I can't go every week.
If
but
it
like,
was just local DJs,
Yeah, but if it's like, okay, let's just name like people, me, you, Charlie, Trackstar, Chris Brown, was that 5 people? Like, if I can't be there one week, you 4 are there, or you can't be there one week, the other 4 are there, whatever. But like, if it's weekly, again, like, it creates consistency. If it's once a month, then you're like trying to like herd cats to get them in there once a month. But if it's every week, then you start to tap into these other people that are like, yo, what's going on?
Yeah,
I keep hearing about this thing.
I don't know if I can commit. Like, do you really think that you can commit a night a week?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a collective, right? Like, so it's not.
So there's a rotation,
right? There's a rotation, but
Okay,
everybody's on the same program as far as like what's happening.
Yeah, with enough DJs, like A-FLEX, Alex me, might only spin once a month, but there's a pool of say like 12, 15 DJs,
right?
That somebody's coordinating and go, okay, like, can you definitely do this week because we got to lock in the schedule. That does kind of become a little bit problematic, at least from things that I've done in the past. But you get to a week where there's something else going on and nobody wants to do it. I
don't think it needs to be that many, but it just needs to be, what needs to happen is, it can't be one person that says, okay, I'm going to book these people. It needs to be a collective of people that come together with the same idea to say, all right, this is what we're going to do. And obviously we know that some of us can't be there every week, but we're all supporting. Like, just because you're not there doesn't mean you're not promoting, because you're a part of it.
I'm
right?
with you.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
we can. We can kick this around. Again, it's tricky. Like, I have to be really careful how much stuff I sign up for because I already have a pretty full schedule. But once a month, I think I could jump in on something.
But you guys have to think about as a whole, not just like what you can contribute, just as a whole, like what that kind of event could do if it's done weekly. And then when you bring in a Skratch Bastid, what happens, right? I think that then that show becomes bigger.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Because it's this weekly thing that's going on, that's hip-hop centric, that's DJ centric. We got people that come out for it on a regular basis. It might be a bunch of people that we don't know. A bunch of younger, college kids that are like, yo, what's this hip-hop thing these DJs are doing? Like, I'm interested. And they show up for it because they heard about it through the grapevine or through social media or whatever. But, like, I think that collective situation definitely helps. Where, again, like, you got your stuff going on, I got my stuff going on. Everybody's got their stuff going on, right? But if somebody's there to kind of handle it on a regular basis, and they understand that we're doing this for a bigger picture, not because of the money, because we're trying to support, St. Louis DJ hip hop culture, and trying to grow it, so that when we have shows, they're just a bigger turnout and a better event. And that's what it takes, But I just don't think you can't do it like once a month. I don't think it works.
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, that might be too big of a Yeah, so it's either like one-offs when the stars align, or weekly, or it's probably those are the two options as far as it's interesting. It definitely felt like a blast from the past. Like, I felt like I was at the Science, and that the homies were gonna just run up on me. It felt cool. It was interesting seeing some people that got a little gray in their beard now, and but the music just, it felt so familiar. It felt like a homecoming or something.
What was your favorite part about the show?
First of all, Skratch Bastid, absolutely.
And what did he do though that like you were like, oh shit, like that jumped out at me?
So, okay, his professionalism, like he executed flawlessly. Just in my opinion, and I could be totally wrong about this, but just as an observer, it looked like he had a long day. Was a little tired. Was like before he went on, was like trying to like chill and get his kind of like restore his energy or whatever. And but when it was showtime, when he walked up there, he had the biggest smile on his face, and there was a handoff. I think Moff was on right before him, and Moff's set was great, and I'll talk about why Moff's set was great in a second. But he executed flawlessly, even his mistakes. He, which were barely noticeable, but he would just, he would miss a click on the fader or something like that. Just so minuscule, but he just recovered and kept his game face on the whole time. But you could tell he had material that he had done before, that even if, no matter what you threw at him, he was going to be able to pull off his routines, and they're better in real life. Like you see these guys on videos and stuff like that, and you're like, oh, that was cold. But when you're there in the moment, and one of the things that happened is you know how like these hip hop parties, like everybody's standing around, head nodding, everybody's trying to be cool. Like it's just there's not a ton of energy in the room. Everybody's just yo, how you been? Oh man, everything's gravy, whatever. And then so there's like that attitude, but he was able in just a couple of songs to put some scratches together with some records and do some transitions that made everybody just start jumping up and down, hands in the air. And I was like, dude, it's Sunday night. Everybody in here is, not everybody, but a lot of people were like older, like close to 40 or whatever.
Right.
You got 40-year-old dudes jumping up and down with their hands in the air.
Yeah.
At 10:30 on a Sunday night.
Yeah.
I was like, crazy. So when it was game time and he needed to execute, and he just shifted the energy in the room, and he knew exactly what he needed to do, and went right to it. And his energy, like the smile and the jumping up and down, and take that kind of like that whole persona that you see on the videos and all that was him. Like he went into character, which is him being himself, really, and just feeling the music and just feeding off the energy. It was incredible, especially after
was there a routine that he did that you were like, oh shit, like that jumped out at you? So the Anderson .Paak Come Down.
Okay. Don't I make it look easy? Don't I make it look good? He had a he just but there was a spoiler alert, whatever. There was a Humpty Dance routine, and he had a Humpty Dance shirt on. Oh, okay. Which was like, that was like one of those fun moments in the set. That was like I looked around and every single person had a shit-eating grin on their face. Like everybody was. I was.
Let's see if I can find it. I've seen the Anderson .Paak routine he does. I don't think I've seen the Humpty Dance routine. See if I can find it online, if he's got it posted somewhere.
He had a couple things, and then one of the things I thought was really cool was, we all have some little routines that we do, but it seemed like, I don't know if he had it set in Ableton or if I'm not exactly sure because I couldn't see what was going on the screen. But after he would do a juggle or a routine with a record, it seemed like he could like echo out of that and immediately transition into like a transition record that he might have on a cue point. So he didn't, he had a way out of that, so there wouldn't be, so say you got a scratch record on the left turntable and you got an instrumental on the right, so you're scratch, and then at some point you have to, stop scratching, the instrumental's still playing, and you got to search for the next song, and then mix that song in or drop that song in or whatever, right? But he would scratch, and then like, don't I make it look easy? Don't I make it look good? And then he would hit a cue button, and the next song would drop in. It would be like Peter Piper or something. There it is. Ding, ding, ding. Definitely. And I'm like, whoa, you had that ready.
Yeah, definitely. So, in the digital battle age, doing that is commonplace. So, there's two ways you can do that. Obviously, like you just put your routine in Ableton, and then your routine song in Ableton and then put another song behind it and then put it on a cue point. Or you can set it in Ableton where like you could even spin the record around to a certain position and then it'll play as well. So yeah, like a lot of times, like when I was battling and I made routines, like it was only 2 tracks. You know, I wasn't using like, all right, I got my song for this. No, I'd have like pieces of the song that I'm gonna juggle, and then I would have the next piece of the next routine like just in that same track. So I either trigger with the cue point or again spin it around. I actually got a video on YouTube on how to make it. But yeah, definitely something to think about. I think somebody, like back in the day, somebody used to make, one of the DJ editors used to put scratch sounds at the beginning of like songs, like 50 Cent or something like that.
Sure.
Yeah,
I got some edits like that. Mm-hmm. So that was all. Yeah. Just like I said, just a total professional, a total, you know. And I know he was just in town, you know, a few months back. He played an all vinyl set, but seeing him on Serato, I'm like, dude, it's just you've got them both mastered.
Well, you know, one thing about Skratch Bastid too, and DJs like him, you know, they're doing a show.
Yeah.
You know, it's a you know, they're going into, when they DJ, the show is a set. So it's not necessarily kind of like how we DJ, where it's like we may know what we're gonna play, but we're not gonna like figure it out till we get there. We're just kind of like trying to figure out the crowd and this and that. Like they're doing their show as if they were, you know, an artist like Nelly on stage or whoever, right?
Yeah,
like
it's a performance.
A performance. Yeah. And they've got that performance down.
Yeah, you could just tell it was dialed in.
Yeah, it's dialed in.
He did his 10,000 hours. And that's also something that I want to talk about if we got a little time today.
Yeah.
Is, you know, what does it take to, you know, when you're preparing for a set, and I also want to talk about Moth and some of the other DJs, but when you're preparing, like, is it, I think there's a certain part of like this old school mentality that I have where it's like, you know, having the least amount of crutches. You know, we talked about the sync thing a week or two ago, but you know, really having some sets ready. I think I'm ready for that, because this last week, and we're talking about opening DJs again, but this past Sunday, Deception, I normally go on after Deception, and if anybody, you know, it's not from St. Louis, it's listeners. Deception was like a 2-time world champion. It was he had a DJ crew in the early 2000s, and is arguably still to this day one of the best scratch DJs in the world. You know, like when he puts out a little scratch video, it gets reposted all over the place. He's a monster, and puts together incredible sets. Incredible, like he's just really dialed in what he's doing for the R&B brunch that we do. So it's bad enough I got to go on after this dude who was a monster, but in between us, Charlie Chan performed, and Charlie Chan he had a little something ready, and by a little something I mean, just,
you know, you gotta give them. You know, people don't know who Charlie Chan is.
Charlie Chan Sopranos, Run DMC's DJ. He used to be the Brad's DJ. He's been a radio DJ in St. Louis forever and ever, even though I don't think he's working in radio right this second. But he's like a St. Louis legend. He's like,
I mean, he is like,
the Kid Capri of St. Louis, or the you know, he's just he's
top of the food chain.
Top of the food chain, tip of the spear. Goes on for an hour before me and just absolutely crushes. Now, I'm no slouch. I'm no, you know, I know what I'm doing. But going on after 2 murders, I didn't have anything ready. So there was a lot of music that I couldn't really play. And you know, I'm sure it's all DJs listening to this. Imagine, you know, somebody's already played, you know, the Sexy Red, the Wipe Me Down, the Swag Surf, the Back That Ass Up, the, you know, and just go down the list of the Tamiya, the Shuffle, you know, just keep going. Like, think about just off the top of your head, what are the records that you would play for, you know, a brunch crowd to turn up, get lit, whatever.
Right.
All right. So although, you know, I don't know what you're thinking. There's still a lot of records left to play. Yes, you are absolutely right. Mm-hmm. There was a ton of records to play. Mm-hmm. You know, I could play the whole rest of the day and never repeat any of the records that they've played. Mm-hmm. However, you got to look around a little bit more. You got to dig a little bit and go,
read the room.
Well, you got to read the room, but you got to go, okay, well, how are these records going to work? And how do I keep this going an additional 4 hours? And what I realize is, like, you know, you can either bitch and whine about it, or you can get behind the turntables, go through your music, and start to prepare for those things that, like, you've got little sets ready, you got little things ready to go, that if you're in that situation where, you know, you feel like you don't have some of the regular records that you would go to available to you, you got to have something else kind of ready to go that's still going to be entertaining and fun, keep the crowd going or whatever. Yeah. Because, you know, I'm just, you know, going to be completely honest. Like, I felt like what I was doing felt a little flat after Charlie murked it, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, and that's it. You know, I think as DJs, like, we should
I think you definitely
be able to do both.
Yeah.
Freestyle it, but also there's nothing wrong with if there's nothing wrong with Skratch Bastid having routines, you know, there's nothing 1,000%. Wrong with, you know, these guys that get to travel around, like, maybe that's how they get there, is they've just dialed in that routine. You know, you don't do the same routine every Sunday, but you or whatever, but he's probably got enough pieces that even if somebody played, you know, Anderson .Paak Come Down right before him, which don't do that.
Right.
But, you know, do your homework. Then he probably could have done almost the same thing with another record that would have been just as dope. Like, okay, cool, you're going to cut my throat? Fine. Be that way. I'm going to either do that and do it doper than you did it, or I'm going to go a different direction or use different records. And, you know, so that's it. You know, just saying, like, to be, nothing wrong with being more prepared, and I think that we all should, and that's, you know.
Well, I think that, man, here's the thing. So many DJs have gotten on like this by making routines. You know, like, look at DJ Ease. Like, DJ Ease got known from a bunch of YouTube videos he was doing. He was doing these YouTube videos, these like 10-minute mixes, and he was cutting up and doing routines. And I think that's a big way that he got attention.
Yeah.
And then, you know, he started signing up for battles, and, you know, he had these routines that he was doing, and they were dope. And he started signing up for battles, and he started winning, and was like, oh shit, this guy like came out of nowhere. Or, like, you know, we talk about James Hype a lot. James Hype came out of doing routines online. Like, he talks about it all the time. You know, 2020, nobody knew who he was. You know, and then he was just posting videos of him doing what he does on YouTube, and now all of a sudden he's booked all over the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, having routines and having sets, 1,000%, like, in, like you said, like mini sets, right? Like, where, you know, maybe 70% of the night or the day, you know, you're just reading the crowd, but that other 30%, you got these little routines that you're, like, you know, knocking off, you know, that you're maybe peppering in through your set, you know, and that definitely separates you from, you know, the next person, like DJing. And I think that you know, that art form kind of got lost with a lot of newer DJs or younger DJs, because they don't really do that as much. You know, they just want to play the music. But yeah, having that for sure, and, you know, that's born out of, you know, the battle scene.
I think another element that's on my mind is kind of going back to, I said I wanted to talk about Moff a little bit. Mm-hmm. But Moff had a great set because Moff did Moff. Mm-hmm. And his set was, I don't even know what to call it, like bass music. It wasn't dubstep, but it was kind of bassy remix. You know, he was doing these crazy, they weren't quite EDM, but they weren't not EDM. Remixes of hip hop songs, and they weren't trap, they weren't twerk, they were I don't know if he's making these edits or if he's making these beats, or you know what I mean. But he just came in, like everybody else kind of did what you thought they were gonna do. J.E. had a real creative video set, but everybody else, you know, was kind of playing what you would expect to hear, kind of like an underground hip hop show. You know, it's beat nuts. It's you know, whatever, right?
Yeah, Dead
Prez. You know, even though I think Muff might have played a Dead Prez, like that's you know, I think if I remember correctly, like he had this crazy beat and dropped the Dead Prez acapella over top of it, which I was like, yo, that's crazy, because it already has a dope ass beat, but you dropped it on a harder beat, which was pretty sick, if I remember that correctly. So I guess the point that I'm trying to make is sometimes you don't have to do what everybody else is doing or what you think that, you know, sometimes you can just do you.
Yeah.
And do 100%. This thing. Like, I've got this idea. I'm going to try to move it in this direction. And I'm not going to try to do what the guy before me did or be a continuation of him. Like, it was a hard stop. I don't remember exactly who he went on after. Maybe it was Needles. But it was like a hard stop. And now it's Moth resetting the room. And, you know, it started out with a scratch routine, which I like to warm up and, you know, get the butterflies off and just shake off the nervousness. He did not. Like, he immediately went into like an extended scratch routine, which was pretty stellar. So he had like an intro, he had cool stuff in the middle, and even like an outro. Like, he had a set plan, but he does performances and stuff like that a lot as well. So, you know, kudos to Moff for grabbing his nuts and doing a dope
but that's the perfect
outside of the box set.
That's the perfect opportunity for that, right? Like, so like you said, people go into these situations, they go, I need to do this way or that way. Like, those are the opportunities for you to go out on a limb and really experiment a little bit, you know, and play something different, or like, you know, showcase an idea, a routine, or whatever, be creative, you know. And we have things like that happen, you know, around the city, but then people will just go the same old regular route. You're like, yo, like, do something different. Like, this is your opportunity, especially like, so what Moff did is almost the exact opposite of what the other DJ did that you said, where he was like, yo, I know that this guy's probably going to play this, that guy's probably going to play that guy's probably going to play that. All right, cool. I'm going to go this whole other direction because I know, you know, what so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so are going to play, maybe what they're going to do. I'm going to go this way. And then what that does is, like you said, it creates that hard stop, and then it shines a light on them to be like, so there's no confusion. Oh man, who played Rock the Bells? Was it this person? Or who played you know, Beat Nuts, or who played, you know, De La Soul or Tribe or whatever? Nah, it's like, I already know, you know, but Jay he got the vinyl you know, of Tribe, and he gonna play it with the video or something like that. Like, cool, let Jay do that. Charlie gonna do Rock the Bells. You know, Buck Rogers gonna get crazy on the finger drumming, so I ain't gonna fuck with that. Skratch Bastid gonna do this. You know, High Noon might play some like West Coast stuff because they do a lot of West Coast stuff in Kansas City or whatever. Maybe he thought it was like, okay, I'm gonna go this direction. So like, that's dope that he did that. You know, because again, he didn't step on nobody, and it just, like you said, it's a hard stop, shines a light on him. So whatever that idea, whether people they either really liked it or they didn't like it, but at the same time, he said he grabbed his nuts and like, let's go. Yeah. So, 100%. Yeah, it was fun. Like I said, I think everybody did great. Another thing just that was, you know, I thought of and was kind of on my mind a little bit is, you know, I made a joke like with Chris Brown and Micro when I was like, I wonder, you know, if I threw a paperclip across the room, how many DJs I would hit. You know, there were so many DJs in there. Yeah.
I think it's good to go not only see some of the really talented DJs in St. Louis and of course High Noon from Kansas City, but also being that close up to like a Skratch Bastid. So you think you're dope. You think you're really good because you're in your kitchen, and you can scratch a little bit.
Yeah.
A-Flex. A-Flex, you think you're good. And then you get around some guys that are really, just they've put in more time. They put in more hours. They've done more shows. They've practiced more. And you see the result of that. And you can't help but go, okay, yep.
Bro,
all right.
Let me tell you a story real quick. I know where you're going with this. I got to tell you a story real quick. Okay. Cincinnati DMC 2017, 16. So the way DMC works is 2 rounds, okay? Like there's a 2-minute round, and then if you get past the 2-minute round, you do a 6-minute round in a live DJ competition for DMC. Okay. So go to Kansas City to do my thing. Or not Kansas City, I keep saying Kansas City. Cincinnati. DJ Ease is there. Okay, I make it through round 1, 2-minute. And mind you, Chris Carnes, DJ Vajra, whatever, he's a judge. Highlight of my night is he gave me props. The downfall of my night is I had to go on and do my set right before Ease. Okay, so I'm in my bag doing my thing. And then Ease literally goes on after me. So like how it is, it's like 2 setups right next to each other, right? So like I'm doing my thing, he's setting up next to me. And of course I'm like looking over like, yo. And then he goes on and it's just like a what the fuck moment. Like, damn. And if y'all don't know who DJ Ease is, y'all need to look him up. Like
So like elaborate on that a little bit. So
like when you think you killing it.
Yeah, okay,
like you
I
saying,
see what you're saying.
You think you killing it again. Like I did my 2-minute. Chris Carnes like, yo, that was dope. And then I get to move on to because not everybody gets to move on after the 2-minute. Like there's an elimination round. I move on, and then you do your thing. I think I did well on my 6-minute, and then DJ Ease goes on, and it's just like God.
Yeah, like if you play pickup games at the court down the street from your house. And you're dominating, you do pretty good, down the street from your house. But then, you go play a pickup game at the school and a bunch of, college ball players show up. They're going to wreck you. You really get to see where you're at. However, I think there's great benefit.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Great benefit. And that was the point that I was going to make. There's huge benefit with rubbing elbows and like the more shows that you do with people like that, whether it's opening or whatever, you'll identify the holes in your game, the gaps in your whatever, in your library or your technical skills or whatever it might be. And so, I think that's one of the things as a DJ going to show, watching DJs, I just, I'm in analytical mode the whole time. I'm just grabbing all the data points that I can, because I know on the ride home and all day tomorrow I'm going to be okay. I need to work on this. I can enjoy the show and do that at the same time, but like I said, I'm trying to gather as much information as I can and go, and I'm using when I'm like, okay, this DJ was so dope. I'm just gonna say Moff because whatever, right? Moff was so dope. Like that's gonna inspire me. There's local DJs that are killing it, and you could take that name out and put Trackstar or High Noon or whoever, right? Mm-hmm. And go, oh, there's local DJs that are, of that caliber of, they could be touring DJs. They could be headlining shows and whatever it might be. And so, you go back to the drawing board and you make a little list. Okay, cool. I need to tighten up my scratches. I need to have some routines. I need to have some sets prepared. I need some contingency plans in my set if the guy that goes on before me has, runs several of the records that I'm going to use in my routine, all of those things. So, I came home with some notes. Yeah. And I've been thinking about those things, process, and we're talking about it. But I'm also working on,
put it in
trying
action.
to spend a couple hours a day of, okay, let's start going through the crates. Let's clean up the crates. Let's clean up some of the scratches. Let's have some things ready and prepared for the next performance, and just try to be a little bit better each time, and make notes, you know, of the tricks, the tracks that work and don't. And, you know, I got out of the habit, but one thing I used to, and don't make fun of me, but I would come home on Sundays, and I got a little planner that sits on my coffee table, and I would write, like, basically what worked and what didn't, or what went well and what didn't. I'm like, all right, cool. You know, the crowd was into it, but then at a certain point, I feel like I kind of lost the crowd because, you know, then just insert whatever. Like, I got tired, and I got tired because I didn't eat, you know, because, you know, I was in a rush or whatever. It was, right. It's like, okay, so what I could do better, I need to make sure that I eat and that I'm hydrated and I sleep well. Okay, you know, those are all of those factors, all of those different controls are something that you can address, but I think that you do need a way to track those things instead of just freestyling it. And maybe some people can. Maybe some people don't have to be organized, and that's just me and the way that my brain operates. Yeah. But if you're not where you want to be and you're not doing that, I think that that's something that, you know, do an assessment and go back and think about, okay, let's write a little bit about, you know, make some notes, and then a plan for the next week. Like, okay, these are the things that I need to do over the next couple of days until, you know, Friday night or Saturday night rolls around again and I've got some gigs to do. So,
yeah, I mean, you know, for me, like, I try to keep my music organized in Serato, so, you know, I can, you know, find things when I need to find them. Like, it drives me crazy if I see other DJs and I look at their Serato and, you know, the song is like labeled a bunch of stars and numbers and, and I'm like, I don't even know how you live. But, like, I think that having different things that you do where you can create some routines, whether it's, you know, we do the 12 DJs of Thanksgiving every year, where you're doing like a 30-minute set. That's really cool because I'll sit down and put together a set and have some routine kind of things in there. Or, you know, getting back to the battle thing, like putting together routines for a battle or just putting together routines for a video. You know, practicing routines and making routines will make you a better DJ because you learn things from the tech side. You know, your left brain thinks about things in a different way because you're like, yo, I wonder what would happen if I did such and such. And then you try to do it, and maybe it works or maybe it doesn't, but then you figure out something else. Everything's almost like Frankensteining what you're trying to do sometimes and whatever you come up with. Like, shout out to Eric Patrico. He hit me up a couple weeks ago asking me a question, and what he was asking me wouldn't work, but the fact that he's just like thinking outside of the box to be like, man, I wonder if, you know, and I can't remember exactly what he was asking me, but I wonder if this would work, if I should try this. But, like, if you have an idea, try it. You know what I mean? Yeah. See what happens. Yeah. And then, you know, you're going to find something out, right? Either that situation ain't work, but then something doesn't be like, oh, wait a minute, that didn't work, but shit, wait a minute, what if I do this? You know, because then that adds to your bag. And then, you know, as far as, you know, be organized so you can find your shit, you know, and then make your crates and, you know, come up with something different. And like, I'm not the type of person that's going to, like, assess, like, you know, how I was feeling while I was DJing, but, you know, I'll think about it later, be like, man, you know, got to this point and XYZ didn't work. You know, I may put it, like, in a crate, be like, oh, man, I need to do something with that record. Yeah. Or something like that, you know.
I'll do that, too, where, you know, so the way that my gig works is like the busier part of the day is the beginning, or the busier part of my set is the beginning. Like, that's more like the peak. So it's kind of like in reverse. Because it's a brunch thing. So right. The crowd comes in and they party, and then it kind of dies off because brunch dies off. But they keep me there long enough because, you know, a good handful of people do stick around and do, you know, the Sunday fun day, whatever. But sometimes the best part of my set might be in my last hour. Yeah. Where there wasn't really a lot of people there. And I'm like, damn, like that. Those 4, 5, 6, 7 songs in a row went great. So I'll go home and I'll capture that, and I'm like, okay, cool. Let's work with that. Let's see if there's something in there, and just like a stand-up comedian would do. You tell a joke, and I need to start recording my sets. That's another thing that I want to start doing. But I go back and
use your history.
I do. Yeah, I do. But I'll play through it and see if there's something else in there. Like, man, this worked. And maybe I'll make that a little mini set, but I'll dress it up and go, okay, well, what if I do something with stems here? What if I do something with...
use all the tools.
Here's a little bridge or something where I could have done a scratch break, or, and you start to kind of build that out a little bit, and that might get moved up to the front of my set when there's a bunch of people there that, because I know nobody saw me, or not a lot of people saw me do it the week before. Now I've got something to work with.
Yeah, I think the way that your day goes, 100%, you got to cannonball in. You got to come out swinging.
Yeah.
To capture people's attention and keep them going, and then like maybe taper it towards the end, or people stick around. You just keep rolling. But yeah, I think you already know what you need to do with that.
Yeah. But it's good to like say it out loud, talk it through. You know what I mean? Like just
spending that time. Like one thing that I didn't do for a long time was spend time with my music, going through it. And I wasn't a crate maker, and I'm not a crate maker like some guys are crate makers. Some guys got crazy crates, and they got millions of crates. I don't. I'm not really a crate maker. And now I've started to make very small sub crates for certain situations. But like I was really big on just having my music organized to the T, whether it's genre, and I kept it simple, and so that I could find what I wanted to find, within seconds of finding it, making sure like all my tags were right, all that. But now I'm starting to make more crates, to go along with me. Maybe I'm playing at 360, or maybe I'm playing, over here or over there. But I'd say spend some time with your music. I think that too, some people have too much damn music.
Oh yeah, we all know that guy that's like brags. Yeah. I got 30,000 records. I'm like, good for you.
Right, or you got like 10 terabytes,
and you play the same 100 records every time you DJ.
Right. So like having too much sometimes could be a detriment, because then you got too much to sift through. Like, cut it down a little bit and really work with that smaller pool of records, and then come up with something dope, because nobody cares what's on on your hard drive that you ain't playing. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't worry about downloading the whole internet. You know what I'm saying? Like, now granted, there's a lot of music out there, but then because there's all different genres now, there's all different things to play, old school, new school, in between, whatever. So there is a lot of music to be had, but start to break that up into different sections of things. Like, maybe you're going to go play an Afrobeat set. Have your Afrobeats crate, what I'm saying? Have this crate or that crate or whatever, and really spend some time with your music and go through it and find what you really want to play. And, especially with you, with having DJing after another DJ, which doesn't happen very often in St. Louis. Like, we just don't operate like that. A lot. There's not a lot of DJs DJing with other DJs, especially like set to set.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's not like he's on for an hour and I'm on for an hour. He plays for 4 hours and then I play for 4 hours. That's a long time to be
right.
DJing. So yeah, I don't necessarily worry so much about downloading the whole internet anymore, because I've got BeatSource. Mm-hmm. So 99% of anything that I would need, like when people come up and request songs, mm-hmm. I'm like, all right, cool. If it fits in with what, if I think it's reasonable to play the song, I just get it off BeatSource.
I got a question for you with BeatSource. Now, when you're running BeatSource and you're out at Tin Roof, are you using Tin Roof's Wi-Fi, or you set up a hotspot?
Yeah, either way.
And it's been what do I want to say? stable enough, solid.
Yeah, because when you load it up, it like analyzes the file and it's got it in there, like just like it's a file on your computer. So if the Wi-Fi is
that's what I'm saying, like
strong,
the Wi-Fi,
it'll take a second for it to load up.
Okay, so
but these are little tiny MP3 files, so they take like.
So you're DJing, you got Beat Source. Somebody comes up and requests a song that you pull off of Beat Source. So are you already online, or do you click onto the Wi-Fi and then get on?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I used to be really concerned with being online while I was DJing, but it's been like I very often forget that I'm even have the Wi-Fi turned on, and it doesn't cause any issues. I've not really had any issues like we used to have when we were running Windows computers back in the day, and like in the middle of your set, it would start running updates or lock up on your whatever. With these new M1s and whatever, like
So here's my next question. So like because I'm not using Beat Source yet. I like the idea of Beat Source, but like I'm still kind of weary about like the whole internet situation. So run me through it. So like somebody comes up, they request a song, you jump online,
I don't jump online.
Or you're already online.
Where the search bar is in Serato, right next to it, there's a tiny little box with a B.
Yeah. And
when you highlight that, it means that you are looking in Beat Source as well. So in your settings, it says, show streaming services or whatever.
Right,
so in your settings, you click that, right?
Yeah.
And so if I don't have the little B highlighted for Beat Source that's right next to my search button, it'll only search my computer. But when I highlight that, then it will search my computer and Beat Source. So I just type in Sexy Red, and everything in Beat Source that's Sexy Red will populate, and I just do my little shortcut to load it up on the right turntable.
Yeah.
And if it's slow, it'll take 2 seconds, but if it's fast, it's like half a second, and it's on it and analyzes it, and you might have to add.
Does it save a file? Does it save a file for it on your computer, or like no?
Well, so it doesn't save a file, but you can, because if you have the premium membership, you can
play offline, right?
You can have they call it like locker something locker. So you can put 1,000 songs in your locker, which essentially will put them onto your computer. 1,000 songs.
Okay. So again, so you're on there. You highlighted the B, searching through Beat Source, find whatever records you want to play, and mind you, you're online. You're on the Wi-Fi. It will load up. You load it up like normal, just like if you had it on your computer. But if the Wi-Fi is like weak, it may take longer to just to load.
But again, you get
But once it loads, so once that track loads up and it does like it's like on load analyzation, let's say like the Wi-Fi stumbles at that point while the song is playing.
No,
is it like save it in like in cache or whatever?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, they thought about all that.
Okay.
It's dope, and like I said, you can have 1,000 songs in your locker. Which, so if you get somewhere and
you don't have
Wi-Fi. But think about how much 1,000 song is. You know what
That's
I mean?
a lot.
The top 100. Let's say the top 200 R&B, the top 200 hip hop, the top 200 pop records. Like that's a lot. That will get you through.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to fuck with it. Yeah, I'm with you. I just haven't messed with it. I don't think that Beat Source is the issue. I think that the Wi-Fi is the issue.
Right.
That's my whole thing.
Well, you can get a personal hotspot. I mean, there's
I can run a hotspot off my phone.
Yeah, there's kind of ways to fix that situation. But I'm a video DJ, so I'm not even worried about like the Beat Source. To me is just this extra thing that I got tired of people coming up to me and requesting songs and saying I don't have it, and they're like, man, well, you're whack because you don't have this 3 6 Mafia record.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, dude, I got everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, I mean, like streaming.
Nope,
streaming is definitely like streaming your music is the next thing. Like because you buying a new laptop now, if you know, the days of having, you know, a 3 terabyte hard drive on inside a laptop are kind of over unless you're just spending a fuck ton of money. Like, I just bought a new M2 and I got a 1 terabyte internal, and it just cost me a fortune. You know, I went from having I had like 2.75 terabytes in my old laptop. And like now, you know, the way that you buy Macs, you can buy one with 2 terabytes, but it's just going to cost you a fortune. So like
that's the Mac thing, right? Is you can get a MacBook Pro fairly cheap if it's the like 256 gig MacBook Pro. But where like you jump up like 200 every additional.
Yeah, it's crazy. But you know, it makes sense though, right? Like, because if you're Apple and you're selling computers, the average consumer, like, think about your girl, right? She doesn't need a laptop with a terabyte hard drive for anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, the only people that need that are people like, you know, or people that are like DJs or you know, people that produce content,
video editors,
or something like that, right? Or like, you know, music producers or people that are. But your average everyday person doesn't need. They're streaming everything they do. They're streaming their music. They're streaming their movies. They're streaming. You know what I mean? Like, so it makes sense.
The way around it is just by the base model M2 or whatever, and with USB-C, which is it's lightning fast.
Yeah. I brought an external now.
Yeah, you can just run an external.
Yeah,
and also back up your external to where if anything ever happened, if you know, the worst case scenario, somebody spills a drink or whatever it is, like you can go up and
just grab
to Best Buy, grab another one, and you'll be up and running tomorrow.
Well, I have a clone. A clone in my bag, so it's like the same hard drive where, like, if I plug it in, boom.
Right. And I use Time Machine too. I mean, there's we could go on and on about backups and stuff like that, but yeah, I think that I think BeatSource is a good option. You know, I'm not gatekeeping. I've said this before. Anybody that wants to reach out to me and are like, hey, what are you doing? How do I, I won't tell you what to do, but I'll tell you what I use and what works for me. And I'll tell you what I have problems with. And one of the things that I had a problem with was like my buttons from like my hot cues and switching between different pad modes on my Rev 7 locked up like 3 songs into my set last Sunday. So
was it due to BeatSource or because of the Rev 7?
I think it was the Rev 7 just needed to be restarted because
Did you do the new firmware update?
Maybe not the latest.
Yeah, there's a new one that just came out.
But I think it went to sleep. Like the controller went to sleep as I was waiting for my turn. And I think the amount of time, an hour or whatever it was.
It will, yeah.
Like that, that's what Deception, said. He was like, dude, I think it's because it went to sleep and got woke up a bunch of times. And so I had to have him go over to the sound booth and bring up the house sound so I could reset and restart my controller. I never had to do that with turntables in my S9. So
I thought the S9 had a sleep mode on it. It doesn't? But you know what? Here's the other thing. It's like, I'm sure you can turn that sleep mode off.
Yeah, potentially.
On your S7.
But I don't even know if that's really the cause. I'm just saying that, like, I've switched over to the Rev 7, like, hopefully for convenience and for whatever. It's been annoying, heavy, problematic. I don't feel like the sound quality is good. I'm not really that comfortable on it.
Yeah.
I feel like Kendrick going at Drake right now. It's ugly.
Yeah. I hate you.
I don't like the buttons on it. I don't like the jog wheels. I don't like the power supply. Like, why is the power supply the brick? Why can't it be just like
that's going away?
Built into
the Rev 5 doesn't have that power supply on it.
Dripping with whack juice.
Yeah, the Rev 5 doesn't have that big power supply. But, it may need that because it's got the motors in it. It may need more power.
Whatever.
For the for the platters. You should have got a Rev 5, dog.
Maybe.
I'll tell you what though. Real quick, going back to BeatSource, have you had any issues with BeatSource specifically though?
Yes.
Let me ask you this too.
Do you want to know what the issue was?
Well, hold on. You can't do stems with BeatSource though, right? There's no stems with BeatSource.
I think you can.
Okay. So what was the problem you had?
I think you can. All right. So I did have a problem, but it was my own fault. I did something stupid, right? I was playing a song that was a beat. It was from BeatSource. And for some reason, okay, I know what the reason was. Okay, so when it shows BeatSource, like all of your crates and all of your music shows up, and so you have all these extra crates, and if you look at your main like music screen that shows all of your songs, all of the BeatSource stuff is in there too. So I wanted to go through and like just play out of all my music on my laptop. But there was like 5,000 more songs in it because it was showing all the BeatSource stuff. So I went in as I'm playing a song in BeatSource and clicked the button to not show BeatSource.
Oh, in the settings?
In the settings.
Okay. And then all the songs went away.
All the songs went away, but also the song that was playing went away.
So it just stopped.
So the music just stops. And I was like, oh shit. And luckily I had another song queued up that I was getting ready to drop into. But just know that, you know, you can't turn it off and on or whatever. Or I should say you can't turn it off while you're playing a song from BeatSource. It will like eject that song out of it, and the music will stop.
Okay, here's another question for you. BeatSource question. How many laptops can you have on it? How many laptops can you have running like one account of BeatSource at a time? Do you know the answer to that?
So there is...
Or is it one of those things where like you get an account...
You link it to your Serato. So I don't know if you can, like say you have Serato on multiple laptops. I think you might be able to log into your account from multiple laptops, but you can't.
Because you know how like
I don't know that for sure.
Sometimes they give you like multiple licenses, right? Like so you have like two. Like I think Serato, you get like 2 licenses for.
So you have 2 laptops.
laptops.
DJ off of. I can't answer that question.
All right.
Not. I would think because I have multiple computers, and you can go into BeatSource like in a browser and create crates just in a browser. Outside of Serato completely.
Does that link to your Serato if you do that?
Yes.
Okay, so you can be like on BeatSource in the browser, create crates, and then those crates will show up in your Serato.
Yes.
Oh, dope.
Yes. So, and I do that on a different computer.
Okay. Yeah.
So.
Then yeah.
But that's not Serato, right? I'm not using Serato. I'm just saying that I build my crates
like on your desktop.
On my desk, on my iMac.
Yeah.
I'll go in because that's I'll have a bunch of screens up like Spotify and whatever, right? So I'm like, okay, let me make this and YouTube. I've got all these different things going, and it's a bigger screen, and I'm just more comfortable there than on my little tiny laptop.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm sorry. I think I lost my train of thought, but
yeah, I was asking if you could use it, multiple. Like,
I don't know.
Places.
Yeah, I don't have Serato on my iMac to be able to test it. Maybe you would have to log out of one.
And log in the other one.
Or when you log into the other one, it automatically logs you out of the other one.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's linked to your Serato account. I forget. There are a couple of steps that are super easy to get it set up. Like they really hold your hand. It was probably one of the most easy setup processes that I've ever experienced.
So when you first got into BeatSource, did you do all the steps on your desktop, or did you do it on your DJ computer?
DJ computer.
Okay. And then you had to log in.
So I actually been messing with BeatSource from before I was a subscriber. Like I would go in and look at their playlists because they had great playlists, better than some of the other guys, and also they've got curated, like you could go and see DJ Vice or Little John's curated playlist, and see like what is in their crates. Like they'll create a crate or whatever with 100 songs in it. So I would go in and look at these other DJs' playlists. So I was always going to Beat Source before I ever subscribed. So there was some familiarity there. Yeah. And then I learned. I'm like,
now, did you have to pay to do that?
No, that's free.
Okay. To be honest, I haven't messed with Beat Source at all.
Yeah. Tonight go, or whenever you get time, go to just like beatsource.com and just look at the playlist.
So you can view. It's not like the other ones where like you go to DJ City, you can only see so much stuff.
Well, and there might be something, but you can create a free account. Okay. So without subscribing. They don't force you to subscribe to see the website. Right. So and what was interesting to me is like with DJ City, they only keep songs for like 2 years, maybe.
Yeah, they got a server, so they they need space.
But Beat Source is completely different. There's stuff you can go and just download all the hits of the 50s, all the hits of the 60s, all the hits of the not all, but and then they'll do all. You just got to check it out.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds. What Beat Source sounds really, really, really good for, and I'm sure a lot of these guys use it, is events, weddings, and things like that. Like,
and they've got there's tons of wedding playlists. It's like Black wedding, Hispanic wedding, blah blah blah. Like it's all there curated. Now it could be a little bit deeper. Some of those crates will only have 30 songs in them or something like that. Right. But it's getting better and better and better. So,
because I know a lot of guys, they use like Spotify and Apple Music. Like I've used like my Apple Music to create playlists for weddings and things like that. But it's like you can't mix them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like unless you use the DJ app through your mobile device, or they have a laptop app too. Yeah. But using Beat Source, I mean, I'm probably like way behind the curve. People listening, it's like, man, I've been on that. Well, no, I'm behind the ball when it comes to Beat Source. I just haven't messed with it yet.
But. Like I said, it's just a secondary thing for me because I DJ video, and it's not video, of course. It's just a way for me to make sure when people come up and request music, I'm gonna have. I don't have to. I don't know. For some reason, that used to always mess with me because sometimes they would request a song. I'm like, why do I not have that? Yeah.
So the other piece of that too is like, so much music now has this like microwave expiration date where it's like it's here today, gone tomorrow. Right. So it's like, why download it? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need to like have it physically. Like, sure. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless it's like just a super banger that we feel like it's gonna be timeless or whatever. But a lot of the music, it just comes and goes so quickly, and to be able to play it through something like that, which again, like, don't crucify me because I'm late to the game on Beat Source, but yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I just always worried about the whole Wi-Fi situation, where being in like a place and trying to use their Wi-Fi, like, is the bandwidth of the Wi-Fi like strong enough, or you know what I'm saying, like, or is you just when you're just out places and they're like, oh, we got free Wi-Fi, or we got Wi-Fi, and you get on the Wi-Fi and it's just trash. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and I did run into that with streaming, which we'll talk about some other time. But I was trying to stream from the club, and the wireless access point for the Wi-Fi is just the complete opposite corner of the building. So
when you say streaming, you mean like streaming like through Twitch? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I was streaming on Twitch my sets, and now I'm even farther away. So, I don't know. We'll see.
I saw Deception was streaming the other day. How did he set it up? But he wasn't running direct audio though.
No, I think he was on the Wi-Fi. I think.
Yeah, he wasn't running direct audio.
Well, he did a couple different takes. But hey, look, I think we should wrap this up.
All right.
Full disclosure, I gotta pee. Like bad.
Sound like my son, though.
Hey, well, last week it was you. Yeah. I think so. Yeah. Anyways, so real quick, you got gigs this week?
What's this week? Where am I at? I don't even know. Oh, I got a wedding this weekend. Yeah, I got a wedding this weekend, and I'm supposed to be at Chicken and Pickles Saturday day. I got to check on that, confirm that, but yeah, that's it, man.
Cool. Yeah. Same with me. Tin Roof Sunday, Tin Roof St. Louis. Come through, hang out, kick it. Let me know what you think about the podcast. Oh yeah, follow us on Instagram. Follow us on
follow us on all the socials.
YouTube. I will post the links in the description. And if you have any comments, as long as they're friendly.
hey, whatever, man. Say what you gotta say.
All right, man. Yeah, if you got something to get off your chest, but
Hey, I'm gonna end it like this: Kendrick with the W.
Oh yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. We knew that was gonna happen from the jump, though. That was expected.
The W, dog.
There's still, like, I'm seeing on Facebook, there's some like diehard Drake fans that just can't admit defeat.
Real quick, did you see that Complex Magazine vote thing that they did or whatever? That was, I don't know. But then there was another one. DJ Vlad did one. It was a complete opposite. I don't know. Well, I don't care what the votes say, man. If a dude makes a record about you and you hear it and you got to question your life decisions after you hear it, you lost. That's it. I'm out.
Yeah, no. Let's look real quick. Just real quick.
Look at it.
The Complex, right? Because
it was like 60% Drake and 30% Kendrick. Last time I saw it.
I saw it change, though.
Did it change? Okay, they updated it. I mean, this was like early this morning, so I don't know.
Was it on one of their like sub accounts?
I saw it on Instagram. But then Vlad posted one that was like 60% Kendrick, 30% Drake, something like that. But and like I said, I don't even care about the votes or whatever, because the votes.
It's on Twitter.
It's on Twitter.
It's on Twitter.
It's going to be skewed because people.
Love that nobody calls it X.
Yeah, that's correct. Why do they call it X? I don't. Because does Elon still own it?
Yeah.
Did he change the name? I never got into like why it got changed from Twitter to X. I don't know.
Okay, so we are currently sitting at. Sorry, not the mic. 46% for push-ups, 54% for Euphoria. So barely in the lead, Kendrick.
That's crazy that anybody even voted for push-ups. Like,
but like I said, the riders are strong.
You gotta listen to the words, man. You gotta listen to that record, man. That dude.
Yeah, too cryptic in some places. I don't know, man.
I don't think he was, though. Like, I remember I had to hear it one time. I didn't have to hear it again and be like, oh, what's this? No, the first time I called you.
I know. You see more when you watch the video that's got the lyrics printed out.
Yeah. I posted that on Facebook today. I was like, here's a karaoke version. Y'all need to read this. Like,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, bro.
All right. We're in it for real this time.
All right.
All right.
See you next week.
Peace. See you next week.